Oh
How's it
yeah,
going,
oh yeah,
guys? You heard it there. You heard it.
yeah.
um, Zoom talks to us every time we start. You would have seen in the first episode, I did get scared by it. But this is episode 4 when this comes out. Second guest. But I'm with Movie K. Do you want to introduce yourself? Or
Hey guys, yeah, it's Movie K here. My real name is Phil. Yeah, I just love films, and hopefully one day I'm going to be a movie director. So yeah, I've got like the movie director look with the
Ooh.
hat and everything. So
One
yeah,
day, that's the dream, isn't it?
one day,
One day.
yeah, one
Um,
day,
if you
one
do
day.
want to see any of his content, I will put a link to his YouTube, his TikTok, and everything down in the description. Go drop him a follow. He was the first mutual I ever had on TikTok.
Yeah,
And I started TikTok 2 years ago now, 3 years ago.
yeah.
So it is a bit mental that it's already been that long. But just before we get into the main chunk, I have a question. This is what we're going to ask everyone.
Go for it.
So it's your last day on Earth. You have
Hmm.
one movie, one
Hmm.
meal, and one
Hmm.
drink.
Hmm.
What do you pick?
So the movie, 100%, it will be Paddington 2 because that means like a lot to me, that film. So that's like you can't, like, if anyone tries to like go against me and say that film's not the greatest film of all time, I will literally shut them down.
Yeah,
Because straight up, like it's just that film means so much to me because of the connection I have with my grandmother. She really loved Paddington, and she never got to watch that film because she passed away, unfortunately. And I was an extra in that film as
yeah,
well. So it's something which is very sort of dear to my heart. So like anyone that tries to shut that film down, I will shut them up straight away. So Paddington 2. Meal, I don't know about meal. I would probably say I might be a bit boring. I might just say pizza or something like that.
yeah.
I don't
What
know,
what
but
toppings though? We'll give you 3 toppings. 3 toppings.
uh, I'm definitely not pineapple. I'm sorry, but pineapple on pizza is just wrong. I'm sorry.
Nah, I
I
love
can't be
pineapple.
doing that. I can't be doing pineapple on pizza. No. I don't know, just probably like vegetables, chicken, sweet corn, whatever, anything like that. I'd be a bit boring with that. Maybe
Yeah,
pizza. Or
I love a
actually, no, no,
pizza.
no. Pizza. If it's not pizza, it would probably be maybe like a burrito or something like that.
Ooh.
I love Mexican food, so yeah.
Do you know, you
So
mentioned that I
one of those.
cooked fajitas last night.
Oh,
So
really?
I love honestly, I love cooking Mexican food. I love it.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so good. Oh, and then the drink. I actually don't know what I'd have for a drink. I don't know what would I drink. Just because it's the first thing that popped to my head. I just say iron brew because that is like the most random thing that just popped into my head. I don't know why,
do
but
you even like iron brew? You just
used to drink it a lot as a kid. But like I don't know. I saw a TikTok about like
Hmm.
iron brews like closing down or something like that. So yeah, I'll pick iron
It's
brew.
closing
I think
down.
so. I don't know. I
Mad.
think so. I might be wrong.
Hmm.
Maybe it was just misleading, but I don't know. I got iron brew.
See,
So
because we had no, we guess not, and people answered this question so quickly. I was like, when I wrote the question, I was thinking like, what would I even pick? Like, it genuinely took me a
yeah,
long
yeah,
time to
yeah.
under. Like, it's
I
difficult.
wouldn't know. Like
Hmm.
it's difficult. It's like I would be like if I had one thing to choose, then yeah, I don't know. I'd pick something boring
Yeah.
because by the time I decide, I probably would have already been dead trying to
Yeah.
choose what to pick.
Oh,
I'd be
I
like, oh,
feel
shall I
that
pick this?
every night.
And the earth would have been gone.
I was just
Yeah,
every night. I sit in my bed, and I think I spend more time looking for a film to watch than actually watching a film.
exactly, exactly. I say the same thing to my cousin. My cousin comes over to my house sometimes, and he's like on Netflix or he's like on Amazon Prime or whatever. And I'm like, "Are you actually gonna watch a film?" He's like, "Yeah, maybe. I'll see." And I'm like, I walk away, come back like half an hour later, and I was like, "Have you picked the film yet?" It's like, "No, I couldn't decide. I just turned it off."
That's,
And I was like,
that's what I
literally,
do.
there's no point. You spend more time wasting trying to decide.
Oh,
That's why I just write down, okay, I'm gonna watch this. This is
mm,
what I'm gonna do. And if it's crap, then I won't
that's
watch
what I had to do
anything. But
yesterday. I had to do that
yeah,
yesterday. Um,
exactly.
see,
So yeah.
for me, I would pick Spider-Man 2 because that
Yeah,
film just means
classic.
everything to me.
Yeah,
Oh,
classic.
I
Classic.
I just had like a steak and chips for my
Yeah.
meal because it's basic. Like your pizza, like steak and pizza are quite basic, aren't they? And then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a drink, I went for just like a beer or something. Just it's my last day, might
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, just a standard thing, yeah.
um, But obviously, if anyone doesn't know who you are, I mean, you're a lot bigger than me. Um,
Nah, I
you,
always say to people, I'm not famous. Everyone says, "Oh, you famous." I'm like,
I mean,
I'm like,
you're very humble for saying that. But I think by like the definition of like an influencer, you are by the
nah.
definition.
I don't
Um,
see it like that.
mm,
Personally, I don't see myself as an influencer, but
yeah, I
because
hate
the
that
thing is,
word.
it's like, yeah, because the thing is, at the end of the day, people actually don't know who I am as a
Mm,
person. All they know is I just post movie clips. So for
yeah,
me, I don't consider that to be as an influencer. I feel like if I was an influencer, I'd be like on the screen speaking to
yeah,
people saying, "Hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." I don't see it like that.
mm,
That's why I like film so much and I want to be a movie director because most of the times, unless the movie director's huge or whatever, they work behind the scenes and it's
yeah,
usually the actors and the who get all the credits for everything. So yeah, for me, it's not really a big deal. Like I don't see it as being
yeah.
famous. So yeah,
I
but
mean, you've put that very elegantly. I must say.
thanks.
But so what? Who got you into movies? Like, was it like just family, or was it yourself that was just why you like
Nah,
it so
you know
much?
what? What it was is like I tell you, one of my earliest memories I remember of like watching a film was probably back in like 1999. So that was probably like I was about when was I born? 96. So I was like 3 or 4 years old. So my dad took me to see Star Wars, the Phantom Menace,
Oh wow.
in the cinema when it first came out, and I was like really, really young. I remember like I don't know why, it's just always stuck with my head. I remember watching the film and I got like so scared because for some reason, I don't know, I must have been high or something, or I must have been hallucinating. I don't know what was going on, but like under every single movie seat, I saw like these eyes that were like staring at me. They were like Darth Maul's eyes.
Oh my
I don't know
god.
why, but it was like the weirdest, scariest thing ever. But yeah, I don't know. And ever since then, I just started like watching loads of films, and I just feel like it's a good way to chill out.
Yeah.
If you're feeling sad, you can watch a funny film. If you want to feel inspired, you can watch something which is a bit more motivational. So yeah, I don't know. Like for me, I just always found it like
An
I always
escape.
found movies an escape, yeah, an escape in a way, and also like a place of comfort
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, that's basically.
Yeah. No, because
So,
that led on to my next question. I was going to ask, like, what are movies to you? Like,
oh
and
yeah,
you
like
like,
everything. Yeah,
because I feel very similar. Like, because obviously, as you can tell from my backdrop, I'm a massive Marvel fan. Um, but they are just kind of like escape, aren't they, from real life?
yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
and I know you said you have this very, very special connection with Paddington too.
yeah.
Which obviously, if someone then tries to like take that away from you, then it's a bit like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Um,
Yeah, exactly.
but
100%.
what would you say makes a good film? It's a difficult question, but as someone who's an aspiring director, what would you say are the key points of a good film?
For me, I would say what makes a good film is ultimately, I mean, it depends how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from a technical perspective, you can look at like, oh, you have your first act, second act, third act, obviously all
Mm,
that sort of structure. But for me, I don't see it in a very technical aspect. I see it more
yeah,
as like, is the storyline good? Because there's a lot of films that have been made where the storyline is absolutely rubbish, and
like the
you
flow.
wonder like how you wonder how like they get the budget for it.
Mm.
Cats, the emoji. Never mind. I didn't say those, but but you get my point, right? So like, I feel like obviously storyline is a big thing when it comes to movies because there's no point watching a story which you're not interested in,
Yeah,
or it's not told very well. A lot of the time is obviously when you get to that level, you've got like studios and things like that who tell you what you can and can't
Spider-Man
say
3.
and do. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Spider-Man 3. So I think for me, like storyline is probably the most
Mm,
important thing. But if you take away the story, ultimately, I would say what makes a good movie is the connection that it has to a person.
yeah.
So for example, for me, like I always said to myself, one day I will be the world's greatest like movie director, but not in the number of box office numbers I've
Yeah.
made, because that doesn't really mean anything to me. It might mean something to a studio, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
What would mean something more to me is like the number of lives which I've impacted through my films.
Mm.
So for me, like if someone came up to me and said, "Oh, I watched your film and I was going through a really tough time and it helped me get through a tough time and it made me smile," or
Yeah.
whatever it may be, I would probably break down and cry, because that means more to me
Yeah.
than someone spending a tenner on a film, because for me it's that sense of connection you have with a film itself.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say makes a good film at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
That's you brilliant way of saying it. Like like I said, it's like it's not it's similar but not similar. Like when people just like even like comment saying like, "Oh, I love your videos" and stuff like that. Like it
yeah,
like that obviously like that just makes the world, doesn't it? Like when people say they like what you've done. Um I forgot what I was gonna say. So with me, I feel like some of the best directors, Sam Raimi, people like that, their films are perfect because of like the amount of time and development they put into character.
exactly, yeah, 100%. Because Sam Raimi, he was originally like when they got him to do it, he already was like well aware of like all the comics and stuff like that. I'm
Mm,
pretty sure he was already like a fan of Spider-Man itself, so he
yeah.
was like almost the perfect person to take that on board, because like that's where I come into like passion and stuff like that, because
Mm,
he would be passionate about that character and would want to do that character justice, as opposed to someone who not doesn't really know the material well and would just be like, it's I'll just do
yeah.
whatever I can, listen to the studios and do that. But he did what like he wanted to do, and he wanted to do justice to Spider-Man as a character, to the whole franchise as much as he could, at the end of the day. So
Because the way you put stuff, it kind of resemble why I like Spider-Man so much is because of the impact he has on me.
exactly, yeah.
Um, and look at even Mark Webb in the Amazing Spider-Man 1. So he went from it's like 5 days of summer or something. It was a really low budget film. I can't remember the name. And then he gets this massive budget Spider-Man film. Those directors, a similar thing happened with Sam Raimi, just shows the passion that they bring to like making their films. Even Matthew Vaughn, genuinely one of my favorite directors. I love Matthew Vaughn. Um,
Mhm.
when he came on and done First Class, he didn't focus on like, oh, let's have a bunch of mutants fight each other. He focused on the character. And I'm a sucker for a character study. I love a character study in film. Like Joker is one of my favorite films.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great film, 100%. Todd
And
Phillips did a great job with that.
oh,
Yeah, he did a great job, 100%.
so obviously you said Paddington 2. Apart from Paddington 2, I know it's going to be a very, very hard question. Would you say is your favorite film? Because obviously that Paddington 2 for you personally, it was on a different level.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So
I would I would say two films really. One is probably a bit like cliche. Everyone's like, oh, well, of course you'd say that. One I would probably say is The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, because obviously it's just everything about that film. Like I was watching it the other day as well, and I was like, even the first 10, like opening 10 minutes, like it didn't even show the Joker
mm,
until the point where obviously he takes off his mask, but it already explained enough about the Joker as a character. He hired all these guys to do a job, and then told each of them, once this guy's done his job, kill him off.
yeah,
So that just tells you everything about him as a character without even seeing him. So like that film for me, I think that is brilliant. And Christopher Nolan, obviously, huge fan of Christopher Nolan. I mean, I went to the same university as him. I was like in the same like
yeah,
society and stuff like that. So yeah, huge fan of him.
yeah.
And I one day I'd love to like even a little bit of like a quarter of that success I would be happy with. But yeah, I would say The Dark Knight. Also, one of my other favorite films I would say is Seven, the one
Oh,
with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman.
yeah,
It's just because as like I'm a big fan of like the sort of detective genre film, because I just find it's like interesting. You're like it's almost like the audience is like a detective as well. You're finding out what's going on. And in that film, obviously, like with the huge twists and turns at the end,
Yeah.
and yeah, even though Kevin Spacey's not like now,
Yeah.
let's forget about him now. But back in the 90s, when none of that stuff came out, like, and that film was huge. I thought like that was just a brilliant film, perfectly like executed, and even still to this day when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, it's just insanely good.
Yeah.
So I would say those two probably like those are the films which I look up to in that sense. So as like really good
Yeah.
films.
Because I feel like
Um,
with detective movies, murder mysteries, stuff like that, they need to be done to the point where they still have rewatchability. And
exactly. Yeah. 100%.
I feel like Seven does have that. I love Seven
Yeah.
because the only reason I watched it
Yeah.
after movie is because of this 100 movie poster. The only
Oh
reason I
yeah.
watched because it
Yeah.
was on that, and
Yeah.
I fell in love with it. I loved it.
Yeah.
You mentioned detective movies. Obviously, the Batman comes out in 13 days when we record this. Are you hyped for that film or?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually looking forward to it. I'll be honest. I don't think it will be good as like the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I just think because that's like on another level. I feel like all superhero movies are just, in my opinion, I don't think they can like match that. But I think it will be. I think because Matt Reeves, he's a great director. He did all the Planet of the Apes films as well, and those
Yeah,
are good films. So I'm looking forward to like that film in itself. And I think what it's going to be is similar to Joker. Joker is like a standalone film. I think what Matt Reeves has said is he wants it to almost be like a standalone universe. It's not connected to anything. So I think that will definitely help. And I'm looking forward to the Riddler, especially because
yeah,
that gives more of that Batman as a detective in that sense. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I think it will be good. Robert Pattinson. I mean, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about it the other day. I was thinking about
yeah,
like how a lot of like the big like comic book actors, a lot of them are like British. So like Robert
yeah.
Pattinson, he's Batman. Tom Holland,
And
he's
they're
Spider
Arsenal
Man.
fans, a lot of them as well.
Yeah, Superman, well, Henry Cavill, Daredevil. Oh, what's his name? I forgot his name.
I
Forgot
mean,
the actor's name.
James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender obviously
James
come from the
McAvoy.
UK in general, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
it's
who plays Daredevil? What's it? Charlie
Charlie
Cox.
Cox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's Daredevil. So yeah, there's like loads of like British actors. Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange.
yeah,
I'm like surprised at like how many good actors there are that taken
mm,
almost stolen all the American roles. So America must hate
yeah.
the UK a bit.
You see, I cannot wait for the Batman film. I've
Yeah.
I've already got like 3 showings booked at the moment. Um, so just for a little example for people, I went to watch No Way Home 8 times in the cinema. It
Yeah.
it would have been more, but I got COVID over Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so they finally brought back midnight showings for the Batman, and I'm going to a midnight showing, and I cannot wait. Like, Batman's my favorite DC hero, and I've always wanted to experience the more detective side, which it appears we're going to be getting. But you mentioned the Christopher Nolan trilogy. That trilogy, just not even on like the caliber of superhero films, I think just film in general, it is one of the best. Um, but right, there's going to be another really, really hard question. It's just coming in my head. What is the best trilogy of all time?
Trilogy. I don't. I can't really answer that because there's too like for me. There's too many good trilogies. Like I mean, Lord of the Rings is like one of the best trilogies of like all time. Obviously, you got the original Star Wars trilogy. I mean, like, yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's just that's almost like impossible to
Yeah.
choose because
Do you have a
just
favorite?
do I
Maybe
have a favorite?
maybe not the best, but your favorite?
I would see. The thing is, I really like the Lord of the Ring trilogy. But the thing is like just because the Dark Knight is so good as a film.
Mm.
The other two, obviously, I mean, Dark Knight Rises is good, and Batman Begins. That's good as well. But all of I'm gonna say Lord of the Rings simply because like every single one of those films like are just amazing.
Yeah.
Like every single one of those ones are just amazing. So I would say the Lord of the Rings probably. I would say the original Star Wars as well, but maybe that's a bit too obvious. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I'm surprised didn't even like consider Back to the Future, like
yeah.
because
Back to the Future,
I love
but the
Back to
thing
the
is,
Future.
I love Back to the Future as well. But the thing is like I was thinking in a sense that like, what is every single like, is it like the Lord of the Rings trilogy? Every single film is like
Yeah,
like almost perfect in my opinion. Back to the Future, the first one's great, the second one's great. Third one for me is like it's okay.
yeah.
So like for me, it's like the first one's the best, and then it slowly goes a bit
Mm.
downhill from that. Not in a bad way, but
Yeah,
I was
I
just
think
trying to think of like everything which is like
because
perfect. Star Wars
it's
is on.
very, very rare to get a trilogy or let alone a franchise like Marvel consistently at that top level. Like
Exactly, yeah.
The
Yeah.
Dark Knight, in my opinion, managed to do it.
Yeah.
Um, but there's not a lot. Like if you sit down and say like, name me like trilogies that are at the top level throughout. Like as much as I want to say it is at the top level, unfortunately, the Raimi trilogy doesn't hit that level purely because of Spider-Man 3. Um,
Yeah.
then you have the likes of like Indiana Jones. Take out Kingdom of a Crystal Skull, and I love those films.
Yeah. I totally forgot about Indiana Jones as well. Like, I remember I was watching it. I was watching it around Christmas, and I was just like, I'm like my favorite one out of like all four. I mean, let's forget about the fourth one. Like, in my opinion, doesn't really exist because it's just
No,
a
yeah,
bit all over the place. I mean, there are some funny moments in it, but like even Steven Spielberg, I saw an interview with him, and he was saying to George Lucas, he was like, "I don't really want to do a fourth film," but
yeah,
George Lucas was like, "No, it's gonna be cool. We're gonna make aliens and stuff like that." So I just felt like his heart wasn't
yeah.
in it. But yeah, my favorite one is the third one with Sean Connery, who has
Ooh,
passed away now, so rest in peace.
yeah,
But like I love that one to bits. It's just so good. Like Sean Connery as an actor, he's just perfect in that
yeah.
film. Like, yeah, love
See,
that.
my favorite is Temple of Doom.
I like
I
Temple of Doom as well.
oh, I love them all. I love them all. To be fair,
Yeah.
um, apart from the fourth, that one, it's just you brought up a point there. It is quite obvious when you can tell a director's heart isn't in the film. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
especially with Indiana Jones, for example, you can tell because although you knew it was Indiana Jones, it wasn't Indiana Jones, if that makes sense. Like it was just they missed the mark, and I'm scared for the new one because of that. Like, will their heart be in it? I hope, but it's one of those things where it's like, is it just a cash grab? Like,
Yeah, I think I'll be honest, I think it's just a cash grab because to be honest, I think Harrison Ford's got to a point where obviously I feel like he's just doing the films one probably just to get paid and probably just to kill off all of his characters because he doesn't want his legacy to be
yeah,
destroyed in some shape or form.
mm,
But yeah, I'm to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to the fifth one so much because it's like I feel like they should have just left it how it is. It's like
yeah.
sometimes like I feel like when it's good, just go out on a high and just leave it as it is. But
Mm.
yeah, it's sometimes just
Studios
like
never
that's
see
why
it
they
like
do a lot
that,
of
do they?
reboots. Yeah, exactly. That's why like a lot of studios they do a lot of reboots of lots of
Mm.
films and things like that because it's all just to try and like make money, which I understand. Like at the end of the day, it's a business. The
Mm.
films have got to make some money, but I mean, there's no point trying to make a film if you're not 100%
Yeah.
invested in it and you truly believe that this is gonna work. So,
Mm.
that's that. But
Yeah, because you brought up the only real like franchise that I could say like can get away with that is obviously James Bond. I don't know if you're like a big James Bond fan or
I do, yeah, no, actually, it's funny enough. You know who my favorite James Bond is?
who.
Sean Connery.
Oh,
He's my favorite James Bond.
see, I like Roger Moore. I do really like Roger
Because
Moore.
I've seen like all of them, and then when I like because I hadn't seen like the original one with Sean Connery in it. I saw
Mm.
like the ones with Roger Moore and Pierce Brosnan, obviously Daniel Craig and Timothy Dalton, I
Yeah,
believe his name is.
yeah,
Yeah, I've like, seen those ones, but I never really saw the Sean Connery one. And I was like, yeah, Daniel Craig like plays the role really well. And then I saw the Sean Connery one for like the third time. I was like, no. He is literally James Bond. Everything
yeah,
that I think about, of like, if I imagine James Bond, that is
yeah.
James Bond. All the other actors, they do a great job, but in my head, I'm just like that. He's perfect for that role. Literally, he is James Bond, in my
Mm.
opinion. But is what it is. But
See,
yeah.
like James Bond is obviously something because there's so many movies you could talk for hours on it.
Yeah.
What is the best Bond song? That
Oh,
personally, mine is probably "View to a Kill" because I'm a massive Duran Duran fan.
yeah. I think I would probably have to agree with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would like the thing is like obviously some of the new ones with like the Sam Smith one, Inspector. Forget that. I was like, no. I don't know how. Wait, I'm pretty sure he won an Oscar for it as well.
probably. Yeah, I think it got nominated at least. I
Oh,
can't remember.
sorry, I pronouns. He's no
Um,
longer they or whatever.
oh yeah, yeah. But did you like the Billie Eilish one?
Mm, not really. I'm jealous of him because she got to work with Hans Zimmer, and obviously he's like
Yeah,
one of the great composers of all time. But I don't know. I wasn't really. I don't know. I don't know. Most of the new Bond songs I'm not really
yeah,
a huge fan of. Like the old ones, yeah, a lot of them are like classic and iconic. I mean, yeah, some of the newer ones I'm not really the biggest fan of, but
yeah.
yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of controversial. Everyone I ever see talk about it loves it, but I wasn't a fan of the newest Bond.
Nah, I actually wasn't like I actually went to see it in cinema, right?
Mm,
And I just thought it was a bit like obviously I know movies are movies and they are hard like obviously there's a lot of like things which happen in movies which obviously you don't expect to see in real life. But I just
mm,
thought like the ending to that film
yeah,
was just it was just so in my opinion I thought it was stupid and it was a bit ridiculous because like obviously I'm gonna spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but like he gets like scratched by Rami Malek, and then he's like, and he's like, I think he was like shot as well multiple times, and
mm,
he's still somehow managing to climb up without like passing
yeah,
out. And then when he's at the top of the building, which I still don't know how he managed to get, he's still there standing. Like, is it like he hasn't been shot or he hasn't been in a battle or anything like that? Just I don't know. I just thought it was a bit like I don't know, like if it like in my opinion, I'm not saying they should have made it too realistic, but like if you've been shot multiple times, you would not be
mm,
standing up for sure. I don't know, like I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I know why
yeah.
they did it like that because obviously Daniel Craig wanted to go out on a high, and that's the way it is.
Yeah,
But
I just found it a little bit boring, this one. I thought it was dragged out a lot. Like I went and watched it in like recliner seats and I felt myself falling asleep. Like, because I just found it boring. I'm not a fan of the song. The song was putting me to sleep as well. Oh my God. Um, but it just didn't feel like a James Bond film to me. And as someone who loves James Bond, it like that hurt me because I love Daniel Craig as Bond, but this one just kind of missed the mark for me personally.
mm,
Um, Obviously, you said Sean Connery's your favorite Bond, but does does he have your favorite Bond film?
does he have my favorite Bond film? Uh, I think he does, I
Yeah,
actually think he does, like because I've watched a lot of them. Like my dad's favorite is like Roger Moore. My
I
dad
love
watched
Roger
Roger Moore
Moore.
when he
Yeah,
was growing. Yeah, he loved Roger Moore. So Roger Moore to him is his favorite. But like I like to like when it comes to me in films, like because obviously there's loads of James Bond. I wanted to
yeah,
watch like as many as I could, and like I think it's probably like Doctor No. Like to be honest, like
yeah,
it's such a great film for me. Like it's just like iconic, classic. Even though it was made in a time like 19 what 54
yeah.
something like that. Like,
Mental. Yeah,
yeah, crazy. Like for me, I think that was my favorite simply because it just demonstrated the character really really
mm,
well. Like for me, I thought James Bond. Like I said, when I thought of James Bond. And when I saw Sean Connery as James Bond, I was like, no, it doesn't get any like look
mm,
no further, in my
yeah,
opinion. And I've seen like a lot of other like iterations of obviously you got the Daniel Craig version, Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, all these like other James Bond. But for me, it's like it's just perfect. He's like
yeah.
he's got everything. He's like, he's charming, he's suave, he's cool, he's everything. Like so, yeah, I would say Doctor No and obviously Sean Connery because he's
Yeah,
just a legend.
that's fair. So my favorite's Man with a Golden Gun. It was one
Yeah.
of the first I watched, and I've just been in love with it since. Um,
Mm.
See, there's ones. you've done videos on like, because I was just scrolling through like clips, and there was one I left a comment on, and even to this day I still get likes on the comments, whether it's from bots or whatever. But it was a clip you'd done of The Mummy Returns,
Yeah.
and for me, that trilogy is just amazing. I know the quality is a bit like questionable in some aspects.
No, they're such fun films. I love them
Mhm.
as well. They're awesome. They're awesome films. Yeah.
But it was ruined by the Tom Cruise one. Like, because it was obviously something to try and capture the love that Indiana Jones created, and for the most part, I think it succeeded for the first three. But then it had the Indiana Jones curse of being ruined by the fourth. Um, but so, what I want to ask: would you rather watch Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones trilogy, or the Mummy trilogy?
I don't know. Mm, I don't
Because
know.
I don't even
I
know
would,
what I would answer. I don't even know what I'd answer.
yeah.
Like,
Because the thing is, like, I haven't actually seen the Mummy trilogy in a while. Like, if you're talking about now, I actually haven't seen the Mummy trilogy in a while.
yeah.
So I might just say the Mummy trilogy just simply because I haven't
Mm,
seen it. But if you're asking me which one I think is better, I will have to say Indiana Jones.
yeah.
Just because, like, every single one of those films, it's like I almost like created that whole genre of like
Mm,
fun, adventure, family sort of. So I would probably say Indiana Jones because it's just iconic, literally.
yeah.
So like
That's
I would
fair.
say
So,
yeah.
so I was watching. I don't know if he's ever come up on your For You page. A Legal YouTuber. He's a lawyer that just reacts to movies and says what laws they break and stuff like that. He done one on The Dark Knight, um, and stuff like that. He done one about Indiana Jones, and I watched it a couple days ago, and it entirely ruined the film for me. Um, and I'll explain. So in Raiders of the Lost Ark, you know when him and Mariam meet again.
Hmm.
Um, so she says it's said that they had some sort of relationship or something 10 years ago. She's 25 when she says that. So minus 10 years, she's 15.
Okay,
And
right.
Indy is a professor. So you can see why it kind of ruined the experience for me. Um, it just really put me off. But it's kind of weird. Like, did they not think? Like, how?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, maybe it's something they just didn't really like consider. Like, you're trying to make the film, and you're just like, oh, let's just make it so they had a relationship. So there's a bit of history there you can play on, have that sort of love-hate relationship there. But maybe they should have used different ages.
Yeah.
But, um, I keep. Do you know what? The one thing I hate is I lose my train of thought so much. You mention movies that like motivate and stuff like that. What would you say is one movie you would recommend to someone if they wanted motivation?
100% The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. 100% like that film is like it's great. Like
Mm.
whenever I watch it, it's brilliant because it tells a story of a sort of father who's trying to like
Based on a true story, isn't it? I've just got
yeah, based on a true
yeah.
story. Yeah, Chris Gardner. Yeah, based
Mm.
on a true story. And obviously, the story which is told. I mean, for me personally, I think Will Smith does a lot of justice to
Yeah.
the role, because like he shows like life's not
Mm.
all fun and games. Like there's a lot of struggles that people go through in their lives, and ultimately, like you see him struggling throughout the whole film until that end point where
Yeah.
they gave him the job basically, and they're like it's your first day as a broker, and then when he like breaks down and he's just like he's just
Yeah.
like clapping and no one like cares. I feel like that's almost like a perfect like depiction for life in some sense. It's like
Mm.
something can go like work in your favor and no one would know about it. No one would
Yeah.
know about it, and you're just there clapping in the street crying and no one would probably care. And I just think that that movie in itself, there's a lot of like joy and happiness within that. And also Chris Gardner, the person it's based on, he does make a cameo appearance
Mm.
at the end of the film. He walks by, but I would definitely say yeah, Pursuit of
Yeah.
Happiness. It's a great film. Great
Yeah.
film.
Because I think films like that obviously are based on a true story, but also tackle like real things. So it's like that shows how brutal life can really be. Not so much maybe on like a physical standpoint with like abuse and stuff like which films do tackle, but this was like a different thing they tackled. And I absolutely love this film. Like it is spectacular. There's obviously other films that tackle mental health, like The Joker. And I think that's another reason why I like it so much. Have you watched Marriage Story on Netflix?
No, I actually haven't seen Marriage Story. It's just the thing is, it's like I do want to watch it, but it's like I feel like I have to be in the right mood for it, and I know it. Like just like I've seen clips on TikTok and stuff like that, and I know I feel like it's gonna be one of those like really deep, almost like not depressing, but really like you gotta be in the mood for it. And you gotta
Tearjerker,
be able
yeah.
to like play. Yeah. So I haven't got around to watching it as of yet because I'm just like I don't really want it to like bring me down or whatever. But I haven't really seen it as of yet. So,
Yeah,
but it's on
because
my list of films to watch.
yeah, I was scrolling through Netflix a while ago now, and I came across it. I was like, I'm gonna sit down and watch it. From minute one, like I was already like, I was just like, I know I'm gonna fucking cry in this film, and it just shows obviously because like obviously I've seen Scarlett Johansson act for the majority in Marvel and like in superhero films. Obviously she's in Home Alone 3, um, which is like the weirdest film to ever be like Black Widow is in Home Alone 3. But even I've completely forgotten his name. Adam Driver, that's it. Obviously I first saw him as Kylo Ren, as I think a lot of people did, to be fair. It just shows how good of an actor, like how good actors they actually are. And that's why superhero films, don't get me wrong, can show off how good people are acting when it's done well. But sometimes to me, it kind of feels like you lose certain parts of their performance because it's some sort of thing. I don't know if you agree with what I've just said there,
Yeah,
but
no, 100%. I'm just there, like nodding my head, like yeah,
yeah,
100%. Yeah,
because
I agree with that. Yeah.
I take it like there's some scenes between Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson in that film, and it's like beyond powerful. And like those sort of ones where they just have films which have those iconic scenes. The one in Pursuit of Happiness when he's talking, he's like, "Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something." That scene again resonates with me. The one from Rocky Balboa, isn't it? No, yeah, Balboa, isn't it?
Yeah, we're talking to his son, right?
Yeah, I can't remember if it
Yeah.
was Rocky 5 or Balboa. Can't remember.
Yeah.
Like that scene. Did you do a video on that in the end?
Yeah, it's actually funny because like you mentioned that scene from The Pursuit of Happiness. That was one of like the first videos like I made on like TikTok. It was like one of the
Yeah,
first like movie clips. Like I used to do like a lot of like inspirational movie moment, and that was one of the first ones. I did the Rocky one as well. So yeah, look, those films obviously in that sense, and I know what you're talking about with Marriage Story as well. There's a lot of like very powerful scenes, and that's where I come back to like the connection, because a lot of
yeah,
people, they can relate to those, even though it's a form of like escapism. It's also a way of like connecting with that
yeah.
person, bringing them back to the reality of things, because like they might look around in their life and they might go,
Mm,
say like the Rocky scene or whatever, like someone might look around in their life and their life might not be that great,
yeah.
but the scene in that like inspires them to go out and make a difference in their life. So
Mm,
that's what I mean. Like, films have that connection. They can change your lives if you watch it and you feel
yeah.
inspired and you take action. So
Because obviously, I know you're a big advocate when it comes to men's mental health as well. We've spoken about it a couple of times.
yeah,
Um,
100%.
it is one of those things where it's like, take a like this isn't really movie related, but you take the likes of Tyson Fury, a heavyweight champion of the world, is able to come out and talk about his mental health struggles without hesitation. And as a man, or at least I hope I'm a man, and you,
Whoa.
um,
Don't
I,
talk bad about yourself, Harrison. You
yeah.
are
But I feel like there's so much talk about, like, I honestly forget there is a men's mental health month. And I don't know if you have, like, if you forget at all, or because obviously you're an advocate, you obviously do actively remember, but it's not spoken about enough. And I just wanted to ask, is there anything you wanted to address when it comes to men's mental health? Or
You know what? It's actually great that you bring it up, because going aside from the movie thing, I think as a topic in itself, it is very, very important, because I think a lot of the reasons why I think us as like human beings, we have like mental health issues is simply down to, I mean, I think it's down to like, technology and stuff like
Mm,
that. Simply because if you go back to like the 1990s, mental health wasn't really that big of a thing, because there wasn't like the internet or anything like that. Like I can go online now, I can post something, and I could probably like, thankfully, like the people that follow me, they're all great. But like I could get people that they start swearing,
mm.
they start saying, you're shit, you're this, you're that, blah blah blah, blah. And they've never even met me. They're just
Yeah,
behind the
they don't
screen.
even see your face, and they say that,
Yeah,
like,
they don't even see my face. They're like, I might put out a video, like I might spell something wrong or something like that, and they go, "Oh, you're an idiot. You can't spell. Or, like you can't. Your grammar's off, or whatever it may be." And
mm,
like for me, like I feel like that's one of the things which in our society I feel has had a big impact on mental health as well. And if you look at like suicide rates and stuff like that, I think it's men who commit
yeah,
suicide because they don't feel like they can openly talk about some of their issues, because they'll be seen as someone who's weak.
yeah,
Because like nowadays is like, men are supposed to be like strong, and they're supposed to be like, this big macho alpha male sort of guy, and then if you talk about your feelings, and you're suddenly, like you're like beta or
mm,
whatever it may be. I totally disagree with that, because it's like, if you're going to keep something within yourself, you're only going to damage yourself
yeah,
further. So I think it's important to, speak to people, even if you're not comfortable speaking to, someone that there's loads of forums online that you can speak to anonymously. And that's where, in a way, I feel like technology is good, but I feel like there's more bad than good, because
yeah,
I know for sure that when I'm scrolling through TikTok, a lot of the times I see people, their lives are so much better than mine, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, why is my life not good like
yeah,
that? I feel like I shouldn't be thinking like that, because my life is fine. Like I'm healthy, I'm fit, I'm thankfully I don't have any medical conditions or anything like that. But I feel like in a way, like we have to
yeah,
conform to like, social media, like, say like take a guy like he's like big, he's ripped or whatever, like, and you look at yourself, you're like, why am I not like that?
mm,
It's one of those things. And I'm not trying to like down talk anyone who's,
yeah,
like fit and healthy, anything like that. I mean, I'm happy for them, but I just think when people are comparing themselves too much to maybe
yeah,
someone else or something that they're not, then that's when you get a lot more mental health issues,
mm,
because they're always thinking what they're not as opposed to what they are right now. Like, a
yeah,
lot of people, I think it's like 300 in trillion that you are like
mm,
even born just the way you are. So for me, it's really, really important in that
mm,
sense. So, but you got to, take it
yeah.
how you
Because I
can.
think I do obviously, like, a bit of contradicting myself, because I know I've said it before. It is difficult because on social media, when you post, like, so I post my face out there, so I post it expecting, like, I'm like, all right, not everyone's gonna like what I look like, not everyone's gonna hate what I look like. Um, but I also knew that posting I would get hate, so I knew I could take it. And I do believe if you're going to at least like show your face, you should be able to take it to an extent. To an extent, obviously not to the point that I've seen certain people get it. Um, like even like footballers getting racially attacked for missing a penalty is
Yeah, yeah, at the
disgraceful.
Euros, yeah, yeah, yeah. It just shouldn't be
Um,
happening, but it
mm.
just does.
Do you think that the anonymity online is the main culprit for this?
100%, because like think about it. Most of these people, if like obviously, we call them keyboard warriors or whatever, but if you think about it, most of these people that like are writing these messages,
Mm,
half of them they wouldn't even say it to your face if
yeah,
you were in the street in real life. So I think because you're like anonymous, it gives you that almost like safety blanket that you can say
yeah.
whatever you want. Worst case scenario is they'll probably ban your account and then just write
Make a
off,
new
and
one.
you could just literally make a new one and then do the same thing, and the cycle carries on. So I feel like almost the best, not defense mechanism, but the best way to deal with it is just almost to almost feel like, because when I look at people that are like writing hate comments and stuff like that, I almost feel like um they need help in a way,
Yeah.
because it's like, for you to if you think about it logically, because for you to go onto someone's page or to see a video that you don't know anything about this
Mm.
person, and then for you to write instantly a negative um a comment or whatever it may be, that must mean that you are having issues. I mean, that's not to say
Yeah.
that we can't say negative stuff at
If
all.
it's constructive criticism, then
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I always say to people. I say I will always listen to someone who will give me something constructive, even if it's something which I don't like to hear at
mm,
first. If it's something constructive that says, "Oh, you didn't do this well, but this is the reason why, and here's how you can improve," I'm 100% going to take that on board, because at
yeah.
least then I know I can do something to improve on. But if someone just says, "Oh, you're shit," and I'm like,
Mm.
"Okay," then
What
it's
does
like,
this accomplish? Like, what does
yeah,
you
it
calling
doesn't.
me shit?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It doesn't go anywhere. So for me, I think it's just realizing that those people are going on their own journey, and just let them do what they need to do, and you just carry on and do what you do. And if they
Mm.
don't like it, then that's up to them.
Yeah.
They wanna. That's why for me, I saw I had a comment of one guy saying, "Oh, you didn't do this right," or whatever, and I was like, "Mate, it's just a movie clip, man.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal." And then some other guy was backing me up, and then we were going back and forth, and I was just, I let them two go back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't need to get involved with that. I'm not, you know, about that
Yeah.
kind of life. 'Cause the only I always say to myself, and I always say to people, the only drama I want in my life is in the films I make. I don't
Mm.
really want it in my real life. I don't need it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Like,
yeah.
because I was playing Fortnite a couple of days ago now, and I was just I went online. I went on this server on creative, and it's an open mic, so I could hear other people talking if they have a mic. And there was this child who had a very high pitched voice, so I can only assume he was like 12 or something like that. And he was just repeating. He didn't say another word apart from the N word, and there was no option to report him because I tried to report him, and the only option it gave me was mute. And it's like, okay, I'll mute him, but I'd also like to report him for being racist, because I like, when it comes to race, obviously I think I'm a lot more privileged that I don't encounter it. But I see people that do, and it Straw Hat Goofy, I believe it is. I don't know if you saw the video. Um, he was saying that it talks about more like just the community in general. He said that obviously he encounters a lot of racism, which is ridiculous. And again, I think it's that whole anonymity thing, isn't it? Like, because they can hide behind something, and they feel like they can get away with it. Like, why is there not more stuff to stop this? Like, how is there any way you would attempt to stop it, or like with the whole ID thing, or I
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I follow Straw Hat Goofy, and I think he's great at what he does. I think the thing is I'd like to say I'd like to say, and I'd like to come up with some kind of way to solve that issue, but I
mm,
just feel like realistically that's never going to happen, because at the end of
yeah,
the day we're all humans. We all grow up in different backgrounds and different, different places
mm,
in the world. We see things differently, so we're all going to have an opinion on someone, and that's never going to change,
mm,
unfortunately. Some people are brought up to hate people. Maybe that's because their parents or they were raised that way, so
yeah,
that's just the way it is. Other people, they might not be. The problem is this, it's too big of a task to tackle, and that's not me saying I want to give up and I don't want to do anything about it.
yeah,
It's just that I need to be realistic about the issues which we face in the world. For me, one thing I notice with me is when I travel, is that I get randomly searched all the time because of my
shit,
skin
yeah,
color.
yeah,
And I'm I was traveling recently, And the guy stopped me and he was like, and I was like, oh, what's going on? He was like, oh, we're just doing like a random check. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. He's like, oh, can you show me your passport? I was like, yeah, sure. Can you show me your driver's license? Yeah, sure. Here you go. Can you show me this? There, sure. He's like, why are you traveling? I'm just visiting. I'm just here as a
Yeah.
tourist. Like, and everyone else was going. And I was speaking to a guy who was sitting next to me on the flight, and he was like, he was white. I was like, oh, did you get randomly like checked? He was like, no, I didn't get checked at all. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. But
Yeah.
it's just one of those things which at the end of the day, for me, it's like I just sort of learned to live with. It's like it is what it is at the end of the day. So as much as I want to do something about it, all you can do is just make people aware. But at the end of the
Yeah.
day, like I said, everyone's on their own journey. They have to just get on and do what they do.
Mm.
I mean, I won't stand for it. If like someone's gonna be like racist to me, I will just be like, no, no,
Yeah.
this is not right. Because like the way I see it is like if you get cut, you bleed. Like if they get cut, they bleed. If I get cut, they bleed. If you shoot me, I die. If you shoot
Yeah.
them, they die. We're like there's nothing different. Like we're
Mm.
we're all human beings. It's just obviously on the outside our skin color is different, but
Yeah.
we're basically the same. So it is what it is. But
Yeah.
that's just the way it's just the way it goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's got very, very deep, very, very quickly. But I mean, to be fair, we've already been going for like nearly an hour already. That is mental. Um, so we can start to wrap up if you want, or unless you have anything you want to bring up. Like, is there anything you want to?
I mean, on the topic of racism, like I was thinking of a film, Black Klansman, because that was one
Yes.
film I watched, and then obviously, that touches on the topic of racism in that sense, and I think it is something which a lot of people, they don't take serious enough. Like,
Yeah.
obviously you mentioned about footballers. It's quite easy. Like anyone can go online and they can just type whatever they want. So I
Yeah.
think racism, like a lot of like things like racism, mental health, a lot of these things have sort of become bigger because obviously there's people that can be anonymous and they can say whatever they want and they can get away with it, and you don't really get punished for it. So, and the thing is like most places in the world, how would they be able to punish someone? Because like loads of people are doing it, and
Yeah.
you can't really get away with like they just get away with it. So
Mm.
it is what it is. I think the best way to sort of deal with the issue is just to try to make people aware and just try to
Yeah.
educate people and show them like, look, I'm the same as you. Like we might be a different skin color, but
Mm.
and we might come from different backgrounds, but we're the same. Like if you're cool with me, I'm cool with you. I got no
Yeah.
issue.
The
It's like
way,
I don't get scared. So
yeah, I was say the way I live is just treat people how you want to be treated.
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
if you're a cunt to me, I'm going to be a cunt back to you. Like, it's
Exactly.
simple as that. Like, it is. Again, like I said, like it's ridiculous that people think like, oh yeah, like I'm just going to be racist to someone. It's like, what goes through your head to say stuff like that? Like,
Exactly.
it's unfortunately, as much I don't know if we will ever get past it, and it's really upsetting because no one should ever have to encounter that sort of stuff. Like, you should
Mm.
never have to encounter it ever, and it's shit that people
It's
have
one
to.
of yeah, it's just one of those things, to be honest, Harrison. It's just like, at the end of the day, I feel like for me, like I mentioned, like, getting around and security checked if I travel, it's just one of those things that you just become accustomed to, and it's
Mm,
like normal, even though it
yeah.
shouldn't be normal, but it just is. And for me, it's like
Mm,
I understand why they do it because obviously they don't know me and they want to double check. So that's fine. So I'm just
mm,
gonna just do my thing and move on. I'm like I said, I don't want any drama in my like real life. I just want to have
yeah.
drama in my like films, and that's it. I just get on with my life really. But I think a lot of the issues we just have to make people aware and just educate them so they can like look at that and go, wait, hold up a second. Maybe what I've been doing isn't right, and I should
Yeah.
maybe try to do that. But that's not down to me. It's always like if I'm trying to help someone and they don't want to be helped, I can't force
Mm,
to help I can't force someone to like, I'm helping you, change or whatever. Like they have to do it for themselves. And
mm,
that's why I said like everyone's grown up in a different background, they've grown up in different parts of the world, everyone sees the world differently. So it's down to the individual themselves as a person if they want to change the way they are. But obviously that comes down to like education and just making people aware of like this is what happens when you're, you know, racist to someone or something like that. You know, we're all human at the end of the day. We all have feelings. It's not that we're being a snowflake or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
that, you know, we all want to be treated like, you know, how we would treat other people. Like you said,
Mm.
like, you know, if you're gonna treat someone badly, and like I would treat them badly, or I might not even treat them badly. If someone treats me badly, I would just literally just cut them off because I know straight
Yeah.
away I don't want to be around. I don't want to associate with that
Mm.
person. I don't even want to waste my time like speaking to them or trying to get down to their level. It's just not worth it. So I just would just cut them off and say, all right,
Yeah.
cool. I'm glad you show me
Mm.
your true colors. That's great. Brilliant.
Yeah,
So,
because we recorded one yesterday with the last guest when we were recording this. And
mhm.
we spoke to her about like the whole sexism on social media and stuff. And it is very, very eye-opening because obviously sometimes like men can be ignorant to like the sexism online, and I can be ignorant to other stuff. Everyone can be ignorant to stuff. And it is just very eye-opening, and I do enjoy talking about it and raising awareness at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just want to say thank you for like talking about that. Um,
No.
but I mean, we can wrap up if you want. End it on that instead of trying to lie in the mood and just kind of forgetting about what we've just said, so it can be lingering in people's minds. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming on.
No
Um,
worries.
Again, it's really mad to think that when we've been mutuals for like 2 years
Yeah.
or something, 2, 3 years, that this is the first time
Yeah.
we've done something like this.
Actually talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully we can do it more then. Obviously, I'm just a message away whenever. Um,
Yeah. Likewise as well. Yeah.
um,
Likewise.
but you're welcome back on here whenever you want. Obviously, hopefully Connor won't be ill when that happens. But no, thank you. Is there anything you wanted to promote or
No, no,
anything?
no, no. I'm not like. There's nothing really that I'm not interested in promoting anything. It's just obviously like for me, like obviously movies are obviously I love and just raising awareness about some of the issues,
Yeah.
um, because ultimately, you know, what a lot of people there's a lot of things that people don't see, you know, that goes on behind the screen or anything like that.
Mm.
Even you know, in filmmaking, like there's a lot of issues that are in the world which we are completely oblivious to. And like you know, obviously, I look at TikTok and it's a dancing
Yeah.
app and stuff like that. But there are loads of issues. There are loads of people, loads of
Mm.
creators that suffer from mental health and stuff like that. That's why you know a lot of people don't post and stuff like that because
Yeah.
like with me, I haven't been posting that frequently because it's just like I don't want to be doing it in that sense because it's like sometimes you get people who are like rude to you. There's like you
Yeah.
know, for me, I think sometimes what people forget is that we're all human at the end of the day, and if we just treat each other how you know we want to be treated, how we
Yeah.
treat our friends, our family members, then you know the world would be a much better place, and we could just get along. But
Mm.
unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But hey ho.
Yeah. I think the one thing everyone needs to remember is just treat people how you want to be treated at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, gonna put my outro glasses on so you don't know. Um, I just want to say thank you. I'm taking these off. I look like an idiot. I'm going to say thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow Movieek on everything. Do it because he's got some sick.
Instagram.
Yeah, and Instagram. Did you end up sorting out your Instagram?
No, I
Oh,
don't have.
oh.
No.
But yeah, he's got some sick short films out as well, which I've seen, and they are very good. I'll admit that. But yeah, I'd love to have you on in the future as well, whenever we just talk about random stuff. And yeah, I just want to say thank you for joining.
No, thank you so much for speaking to me. It's like nice. It's nice having this
Yeah.
kind of like conversations. So yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. So yeah.
Anyway, guys, we will see you either Tuesday or next Saturday for the next episode. So I'll see you a lot later. Bye.